All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Enid Weichselbaum. I understand why people have a hard time with that name. I am a volunteer, a member of the League of Women Voters Rochester. I'd like to welcome you all here tonight, the candidates, the audience, and those viewing at a later time to this forum, sponsored by the League of Women Voters Rochester. I'd also like to thank our generous partners tonight, the Rochester Post-Bulletin, the Rochester Area Chamber of Commerce, and the Rochester Public Library. The League of Women Voters is a volunteer organization organized at the local, state, and national levels. We encourage citizens to participate in government. While we as a league do study and take stands on certain issues, we never endorse a political party or a candidate. The views expressed in this forum are those of the candidates, not those of the League of Women Voters Rochester or any partner or sponsor of this event. The sponsorship of the forum is not an endorsement of any candidate. It's our purpose in sponsoring this forum to provide you with an educational opportunity to hear candidates discuss face-to-face issues that are important to you. Tonight's questions have come from the League of Women Voters Rochester, the Post-Bulletin, and the Chamber of Commerce. In addition to that, and most importantly, the questions have come from our online audience and our audience that is present here tonight. You may submit written questions, those of you in the audience, on the note cards provided. We have note cards all over the place. Once you've finished your question, hold it up, and a league volunteer will collect it for you and provide it to the question screeners. You may submit questions online as well, and email them to lwvrochester@lwvmn.org. All of the questions are reviewed by our League of Women Voters volunteers. And a note on these questions: questions that are unclear, hostile, or of a personal nature will not be used. Given our format, your questions must relate to both candidates. Questions that are under the same general topic will be combined to allow the moderator to cover as much as possible during our short time. We appreciate questions that are forward-looking rather than about the past. If an answer is unclear, submit a follow-up question or contact the candidate after the forum. Our time is very limited tonight, so we may not get to all questions. Please feel free to contact the candidate's campaign headquarters if you have a specific question. Questions in this forum will become the property of the League of Women Voters Rochester. We'd like to thank all candidates for running for office, for offering to serve your community, and for the enormous time, dedication, and commitment that running and serving demand. We encourage our members as individuals, and we do each of you, to get involved in the community and the political party of your choice. So for the rules tonight for our candidates, each candidate will have 2 minutes to offer an opening statement. The candidates will then respond in turn to questions provided by the League of Women Voters Rochester, this evening's partners, and by the public, questions that were submitted in advance and here tonight. Candidates will have 75 seconds each to answer. The candidates will then have 2 minutes each to make a closing statement. I'd like to suggest that candidates make your answer as succinct as possible. It isn't necessary to use your entire 75 seconds for your answer. When your time is up, you may finish your sentence, but you have to conclude your answer. Each candidate also has 3 30-second rebuttal cards. These can be used at any point after each candidate has answered a question. Only 1 rebuttal card may be used per question. When you're done, please remember to put the green card in the basket so that we can keep track of how many you've done. I would like to remind the audience to remain silent during the forum. Hold your applause until the end and turn off all electronic devices. Tonight, we welcome candidates for Olmsted County Commissioner District 1. Candidates for this seat are Laurel Podulke-Smith and Laurel Stead. Timekeepers tonight are April Horn and Amina Araya. The questions are screened by Amy Cockett and Kathy Meyerly. Asking questions from the Post-Bulletin tonight is Randy Peterson. From the Chamber of Commerce, John Kroll. The candidates have drawn numbers to determine the order in which their opening statements and closing statements are. And candidate Podulke-Smith will go first with her opening statement. You may begin.
Many thanks to everyone who was part of organizing and hosting this event. It is so good to be here tonight. Welcome, everyone. I'm running for county commissioner because I believe in the power of public service to improve the everyday lives of people. As a dedicated community leader, I bring strong collaborative skills, optimistic thinking, and creative problem solving to local government. With 20 years of experience in education, healthcare, and small business, I understand the importance of working together to get things done. Over the past several years, in preparation for this office, I've learned everything I possibly can about Olmsted County, how it works, why it's important, and how I can add value to the organization. I meet regularly with local leaders. I follow the news closely. I pay close attention to what's happening in District 1 neighborhoods. And during the pandemic, I got a master's degree in organizational leadership. I sit on numerous nonprofit boards and commissions, and I do all of this while working full-time. And this is my way of beginning the work of advocacy and community empowerment. I plan to continue when I'm elected to the county board. It is vitally important that our local elected officials have meaningful lived experience in the communities they seek to represent. I am a nearly lifelong Kutzke Park resident. I talk to voters every day and throughout District 1 in their own neighborhoods. I ask what's on their minds, and they share with me their thoughts and opinions. And I'll finish my sentence here. And those answers stay with me, and I'll carry those voices forward. It's this level of commitment and determination you can expect from me as a county commissioner.
Thank you. Candidate Stead.
Greetings all. I'm Dr. Laurel Stead. For 35 years, I was at Olmsted Medical Center. During that time, I saw 225,000 patients. For each of those patients, I had to listen, I had to evaluate, and I had to execute a plan. I will bring those organizational skills, that critical thinking, that care and compassion, these issues the county has, particularly no money, no mission. Sister Jen Rose told us we have to have money, fiscal responsibility, which it's all about. Public safety. If we can't go out at night and feel safe in Rochester, things have to change, and I'll work carefully with Torgerson and the team to make that happen. And then the safety net. The safety net is all about public housing. It's about homelessness. The history of Steaders. My wife's here, 43 years. Thanks, Pam, for putting up with me. I really appreciate it. I have 3 beautiful kids, 3 great grandchildren, just like all you. And a shout out to the little 7-year-old who's here. Thank you for taking up and understanding public government. This is pretty special. I went to Luther College, degree in chemistry and biology, matriculated to Rosalind Franklin University for my doctorate, trained at Cook County Hospital in Chicago, Youngstown for internship and residency, came back for my lifelong dream to give rural health care to southern Minnesota, northern Iowa. I personally started community foot clinics. I had 2 physicians work for me. I had 19 employees. We covered 6 small towns around the area. We worked with the we worked with the migrant camps in Olmsted County. I am just so pleased to be here. Additionally, I was taken on at Olmsted Medical Center in the mid-'80s, at which time I got involved with Health and Human Services at Hiawatha Children's Home. Affordable housing, that was 13 years, 6 years at Affordable Housing and Rochester Foundation, 6 years at IMAA. I am so pleased to be part of the fabric of this community. It was great for our family, it was great for our kids. A vote for Stead is a vote for experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Our questions now begin. We'll begin with a question from the League of Women Voters, and Pay attention. The order in which you answer these questions might be random. Well, it will be random. We're going to begin on this question with candidate Stead. The question comes from the League of Women Voters. How do you define the role of an elected official? Are you to vote based on the views and preferences of local residents and businesses, or are you to study the issues and vote based on your analysis of the issue?
And my answer is all the above. You carefully have to listen. It's all about listening. It's about learning. It's about executing plans. I would be a good listener to all and try to evaluate where you're at, where you're going. Leadership is all about service above self, making it happen, and leading by example. I get another minute, then I'm going to say this. It is trying to make the community collaborative. Olmsted County can't do it alone. We have to work with the other non-profit foundations to work collaboratively on so many very issues. And that's where I have leadership and experience with Hiawatha Children's Home, 13 years, Rochester Foundation, 6 years, IMAA for immigration and refugees. I am just so pleased to be here. Rochester is a great spot. Olmsted County is doing a lot of things well. We're doing collaborative work with the city, with Mayo, and we can make this place even better. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Podulke-Smith.
Could I hear the question again, please?
You may. How do you define the role of an elected official? Are you to vote based on the views and preferences of local residents and businesses, or are you to study the issues and vote based on your own analysis of an issue?
The answer would have to be a balance between the two. An elected official needs to rely on their own moral compass and their own ethical sense of themselves and what they believe is best for their community. And so in order to learn what's best for their community, we've really got to be in the community, spend time and invest in the community, and learn what's on the minds and in the hearts of our constituents. So that's part of why I made it a priority to meet everyone I possibly could in District 1. So for the past 5 months, really, since I filed for office, I've been door knocking every day. I've been to about 6,000 homes. I've talked to about 1,000 people. And I've asked what's on their mind, what community issues are on the top of their mind, and they share those answers with me. And those answers and those voices are with me, as well as my own priorities, my own ethical makeup, and my own moral compass, which guides me to use my own voice and my vote to be in service to what's best for the community.
Thank you. Our next question will begin with candidate Podulke-Smith. The question comes from the Post Bulletin.
A recent Olmsted County survey shows affordable housing and taxes are residents' highest priorities or concerns. Of those two issues, which do you see as a top priority to be addressed, and how would you seek to address it?
So that the result of that residential survey is basically saying taxes are high and housing is unaffordable. And I've thought about this question. It's a great question. I really appreciate it. And the way I see it, we need more affordable housing, which will hopefully stabilize home prices and rents. And the more people who live, rent, and own a home in an area, the broader the tax base. So more people are paying into a levy, which reduces individual burden. And I think the answer here is smart growth that hopefully creates stability, and we have to start with workforce and affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Stead.
I agree with much of what you said. I like many of your points. I would emphasize, once again, no money, no mission. It really comes down to fiscal responsibility and then collaboration with other partners. Olmsted County cannot do it alone. Who can we work with? There's many folks out there that we can work with. Rochester Foundation. We can do collaborative work with Mayo Clinic. We have a collaboration right now, I think, with HRA that the county has contributed to. There's so many partners out there that we can work with, and we just can do all to make Olmsted a better place. I think working together and being fiscally responsible will be the key to moving forward. Affordable housing is going to be the key to making that happen, and there's a lot of projects out there that are in the works. Mayowood 2 will be funded hopefully next time. We have the Jeremiah Homes, we have Gage East. There's many other projects on the horizon that Rochester Foundation and others are working with. I think it can be done, but it can be done together.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll begin with candidate Stead.
What is your view on the current business environment here in Olmsted County? As County Commissioner, how would you work to ensure that the county is a place for businesses to grow and thrive?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it was just brutal what we just came through. Just brutal. My son's out in LA and he had a business and they are all wiped out. So we have to be very, very careful as we move forward and be realistic of what's taking place. There's a unified development plan that's coming on board for the city and the county coming up. That's going to be of paramount importance to give developers clarity moving forward. It's a huge document, and somebody said, well, how are they going to encounter this? It's like 1,000 pages, I think. If people are going to invest in Rochester, they have to be clear and have clarity of what's going on. So we need to work with large developers. We need to work with small businesses. I am additionally a commercial real estate person, and I know the needs and desires of those that are trying to come to make Rochester a better place. It's doable. We can make this happen.
Thank you. Candidate Podulke-Smith.
Olmsted County doesn't have the expertise or the bandwidth to act as a developer in a traditional sense. So what we do to create a positive environment and an inviting place is deliver services that make Rochester a healthy, vibrant, beautiful, welcoming place. And that's what causes people to want to move here, to raise their families here. That's what inspires businesses to set up shop here and expand. It inspires developers to build here. So the role of the county here is to create the foundation for a thriving community, to attract business and attract people and workers, contributing to an overall community thriving. Thank you.
All right, our next question comes from our audience, our in-person audience. And we're going to begin with candidate Podulke-Smith. As RPU just recently pledged to adopt 100% renewable energy by 2030, how can Olmsted County assist the city in order to achieve this goal?
My understanding is that at the waste-to-energy plant, we sell the excess energy to RPU. And while I would love to be an expert in everything, not quite yet. So this is an area that I'm still learning about. And I do remember jotting something down about it. So that relationship with RPU will need to be renegotiated because the energy that the county sells to RPU is currently at a price lower than market value, but will be renegotiated. So the county could further help the environment by adding solar and eventually adding energy storage when available as part of this negotiation with RPU.
Thank you. Candidate Stead.
Yeah, could you repeat the question just one more time to give me a little more detail on that?
Sure.
Thank you.
As RPU just recently pledged to adopt 100% renewable energy by 2030, How can Olmsted County assist the city in order to achieve that goal?
Yeah. Well, we have the local expert here, Dave Fenjum, in that regard, and I'd really count on him to be the expert for all of us because this is a learning curve that would be brutal. I have really interest in this area. I think we need to set expectations that are real. Life and change is real. Climate changes are real. And to achieve those goals, we have to have a balanced approach. Right now, we're talking about going off the grid and going on this microgrid in 2030. The microgrid is 15 states, Manitoba, 66,000 power lines, 42 million people. I'm all for looking forward and addressing climate, but also having cautious options as things move forward. We don't want to be California. They just had power grid outs. I'm in the Berkman for health changes. Fontaine Towers, Charter House, Berkman, any of the towers downtown, we can't count on the grid all the time to be doing everything for us. I would ask the question, can the grid actually take all the communities that are planning on coming onto it? Does it have the capacity to do that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next question also comes from the audience and is environment related. Do you support planning and seeking funding for a biodigester for waste disposal at the county's waste to energy facility? We'll begin with candidate Podulke-Smith.
The solid waste and waste to energy facility here is particularly interesting to me. I was the 12-year-old kid who was so excited about the new waste to energy plant that when I had friends come to town to visit, I would take them on a tour of the waste to energy facility because it's such a marvel of engineering and just so visually and sensorially like a fun, interesting place to be. So I am particularly attuned to the expansions and the growth, the future growth that's happening at the waste to energy facility and the proposed materials recovery facility that will hopefully be built there in the near future. I do support so much of the vision and the potential development at the waste to energy facility, including a biodigester, which would remove, if I understand this right, we would separate food and animal waste from the solid waste stream. So instead of combusting that would be broken down and reprocessed into a naturally renewable biogas. So yes to the biodigester.
Thank you. Candidate Stead.
I agree, yes to the biocongester. That being said, so many times we count on the national government to do it for us. You count on the state to do it. You count on the county. All this starts at your home. Start to recycle at home. Do a good job at home, and the county has to do less recycling there. But it's going to be key to move forward, to have options on the table. I'd be all for biodigester moving forward and doing everything we can to continue to make Olmsted County a leader in this area. We are unbelievable. The other counties look to us. Of the 87 counties, they look to Rochester to lead by example, make it happen in service above self. And we're doing that. And we're going to continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question, we're going to begin with candidate Stead. The question from the audience reads, Olmsted County has a growing LGBT community, yet support services are lacking. What should Olmsted County do to serve this community?
Yeah, well, I was at the committee meeting. I've been going to the county meetings the last 6 months, and I try to go to as many committee meetings as I can, too. And I was at when they passed the, I think it was a multi-year study on racism. Well, part of racism